Hey guys, I'm sharing this story with you because I really need your help. This has been happening for some time and I'm on the verge of despair. Let's start from the beginning. You can call me Carl. I'm a philosophy student and I live in the city of St. Augustine in Florida. It's an extremely quiet and bucolic town, and most people passing through here usually don't pay much attention to it. Some of you might have even visited the town if you've ever been to Disneyland, as we're about a 2-hour drive from Orlando. It's important to mention this to understand that it's a small town, with very little crime or any bad incidents really, and my closest neighbour is a good 15 minutes walk away. A few weeks ago, I began to notice something strange happening around here. One night, as I was getting ready to sleep, drinking my routine glass of water, I choked when I looked at the window. A hidden figure was staring at me. I couldn't see its face or any other details, except that someone was definitely there, standing, and looking in my direction. It could be a neighbour in need of help, a lost traveller seeking directions, or even a stalker, you're probably thinking at this point. But what made it particularly unsettling was that my room is on the second floor. So, the first night I was convinced it was just my imagination, a trick of the light or something. The figure didn't do anything other than stand still, and I assumed it was a shadow from a coat or something. Like those illusions where piled up clothes on a chair look like a monster watching you. It took a while to fall asleep in the end, but I did manage to drift off. When I woke up, the first thing I did was check the window, and to my relief, there was nothing there. I did my daily chores, took care of the yard, trimmed any branches that could reach the window, removing anything that could cause that illusion again. The next night, I followed my usual route to the university, occasionally joking with some classmates about what had happened. On the way back home, though, as I approached my house, I was sure I could see that shadow again, this time standing in the clearing in front of my garden. I was sure that I was taking this too seriously. I must have thought too much about it during the day. I quickly entered the house, locked the door and closed the curtains, and then I took a cold shower and rushed to my room. But as I took a few steps, I froze in place. Again, that thing was there, but it couldn't be. I'd moved everything away. At this point I was really confused and, unnerved. I wanted to close the window, but I was afraid to approach it. I began to move slowly and cautiously around the room. The shadow had no visible eyes, but I could still feel its gaze following me through the room. I carefully grabbed my blanket and pillow and began to retreat, still facing it. I closed the bedroom door and locked it from the outside, and then I went to sleep on the couch, waking up with a start at any noise that I'd heard. The nighttime visitor continued to appear, night after night. You may be wondering at this point why I didn't just try to call the police, and, well, I did try, but it always disappeared before they arrived. My friends and family think I've become paranoid, and I'm starting to believe they might be right. A few details about this thing. The nighttime visitor makes no sound, it doesn't say anything, and it doesn't move, but its presence is terrifying nonetheless. Its face is always hidden in the shadows, so I never managed to make out any of its details. I don't know if it's a man, a woman, its ethnicity, age, or anything really. I even installed security cameras, but they never managed to capture its image. The videos are just of the scene in question, my garden empty with leaves swaying in the wind, as if it knew how to avoid being seen by the lenses. Or maybe it's manipulating them somehow. I honestly don't know. I'm running out of ideas about what to do next. I tried leaving the lights on, closing the curtains, shouting at the creature to tell me what it wants, and even in the past few days I had the courage to approach the window and knock on it. Still nothing. It just continues to watch me. My last resort was to buy a gun and point at it, telling it to go away, but nothing seems to deter this nighttime intruder, and for obvious reasons I wouldn't risk shooting without knowing who or what is out there. Honestly, I've grown accustomed to its presence, and I'm sleeping in my own room again, because, to be honest, the only thing it does is watch me. As unsettling as it is, at least it doesn't seem to be dangerous, right? But what really prompted me to write this post was today's incident. I was getting ready for my nightly ritual of checking for the intruder when, to my surprise, there was nothing at the window. Everything was normal and calm. Just the garden. I waited for some more time. Half an hour, but it didn't appear. A sense of relief washed over me as I prepared for a night of sleep, alone. I was awoken by a faint noise coming from deeper in my house. I almost ignored it, but it repeated, removing sleep from my mind. It sounded like the creaking of the wooden floor, but not like the usual creaks I hear when it's expanding or contracting with the temperature changes. It was rhythmic, as if there was someone inside the house. Fear crawled up my spine when I looked at the window, and the shadow wasn't there, along with the dreadful realization of who was now climbing my stairs. I quickly crept to the other side of my bedroom and locked myself in the closet, opening my cell phone and began writing this post you're reading now. I've already called the police, but it seems like it's going to take a while for them to arrive. That thing out there walked the entire length of the hallway, taking its time with each step, as if mocking my attempt to hide from it. I felt when it arrived, its cold presence paralysing me in place, as it stood in front of my bedroom door, waiting. It's been 5 minutes since the doorknob turned in vain, and this thing won't stop knocking on the door. They're not violent knocks, they're uncomfortably calm and rhythmic, as if it could enter whenever it wanted, and it's just testing me. I guess I should have asked this before, but do any of you know how to ward off this kind of entity? Love a bit of this. Fortunate enough to never have personally been in a situation like this, but you can imagine how terrifying it'd be. First the mind games, letting you think it's just watching, before moving on to supposedly a more malicious attack. This is actually part 1 of a 2, hopefully, 3-part series written by Carl. The second part I'll be doing a reading of and uploading shortly. I say possibly 3 parts because, well, come check out the ending of part 2. I think you'll join me in anticipating a 3rd entry. See you all in the next one, and make sure you keep it spooky till then.